Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. If you would, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below. That would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to dip back into my Lost Classics series and discuss an album that's very polarizing amongst rock fans. And by rock fans, I mean Kiss fans. And we're going to discuss 1981's concept album, Music from the Elder. All right. So, Music from the Elder was released on November 10th, 1981. It was produced by Bob Ezrin, who had previously produced 1976's Destroyer. This is the 9th Kiss album overall, first album with Eric Carr, and technically speaking, the last album that Ace Frehley performed on before he left in 1982. The album did not do well on the charts. It only reached as high as number 75, which was the lowest performing album since Hotter Than Hell. And currently there has never been a gold certification, platinum, or anything else for this album, although most people believe that it sold more than enough copies at this point to probably have at least gone gold, but it has not been certified yet. So, interestingly enough, I have 2 copies of this record. So what you're seeing right here is the original edition from 1981, and what I have here is the reissue from the 2014 reissues that they did of most or almost all of their studio albums. Yeah, there's a reason for it, and I will get to that in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside the vinyl, or inside each vinyl. Okay, so again, here is the 1981 issue, the original issue. And you would know this by looking at the back. And I know you can't see it here, but at the very bottom corner right there is the Polygram logo. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the first album under the deal after Casablanca was purchased by Polygram. So this was the first album under that deal. So this was the first album to officially have the Polygram logo on there, of course, before they reissued all the old stuff. But that's how you know it's an original issue. So you have the Casablanca logo over here, the Polygram logo there. All right. And then just a track listing and all. And this is also, I think, one of the first Kiss albums, if not the first, to not have a picture of the band in any way, shape, or form on the front. Just this hand getting ready to knock on the door there. So, all right. So if you open it up, you have the board table here, a little bit of a gothic thing. And then, inside here, now, like I said, this is a concept album based on what I think was a short story by Gene Simmons. And I think the original plan was to make this into a movie, or something like that, and that never materialized. And it's basically like a coming-of-age story about, a boy who, ends up being a hero. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but you can read on that on your own. So let's take a look and see, what's inside here. So, if I pop this out, it's got this interesting clear inner sleeve, with just the album inside. And on this inner sleeve, it's got your liner notes, like your production, engineering, studios, all that stuff. And I think even some special thanks and some other things. And this album was interesting because there was a lot of orchestration on this album, and that was handled by Michael Kamen, of all people, so that's really cool. If we slide the album out, you can see the sleeve, or the sticker on the inside is just a hand with the track listing, and it's the same on the other side. All right, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, there's more to the story, the storyline to the Elder than the brief little synopsis I just gave. But I don't want to waste everybody's time trying to tell the story of the Elder here, so we won't do that. All right, so that is the original issue. Now I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there's a whole lot of different stuff in the reissue. This is slightly different, but again, here's the reissue, same cover. Back cover is exactly the same, with the exception of the way this is that you can see, you still have the Casablanca logo over here, but you have the UME, Universal Music, as well as the Mercury logo down here, which tells you this is the 2014 reissue. And if we open it up, again, just like the other one, the same thing on the inside. Nothing too special there. Just kind of tells just gives a basic synopsis on each side of what the story of this album is. The concept and everything behind the album. All right. Tells you more about the Elder and, all this other stuff. Now inside here, this is kind of cool. This is probably the biggest difference. So whereas the other one was just a clear, just had the clear inner sleeve with the liner notes and everything on it. This one actually is a white inner sleeve and actually has the lyrics to every song on the album. And it also does have the liner notes and everything down here in this bottom corner. But it's kind of interesting to see, it's got the, the song lyrics, who wrote the songs, everything else. And things like that are pretty interesting to me. Maybe not to everybody else, but to me, they definitely are. So, now we've taken a look inside both of these vinyls. Both of these issues of Music from the Elder. So, let's talk about the album for a bit. Upon release, the reviews were not good. I've heard the album referred to as, that it's not really a bad album, it's just a bad Kiss album. It was Kiss trying to show everybody how smart they were. It was Kiss trying to please the critics instead of their fans. And in my opinion, it was Kiss trying to beat Pink Floyd. Now, that could have been hugely due to Bob Ezrin, who had just 2 years prior to this finished producing The Wall for Pink Floyd. And apparently he was really messed up on drugs and, other things were going on. So I think all of these things coming together in a band that had just replaced its drummer, a band that had just seen its least successful album in 5 or 6 years, really trying to do something different instead of just going back to the straightforward rock and roll that they should have been doing. In fact, that's why Ace Frehley, I said earlier, this is technically the last album he performed on before he left Kiss in 1982. And he actually, even though they recorded a lot of it at his home studio, he's actually only on 2 songs. And those happen to be, in my opinion, the 2 best songs on the album. But later in later years, more current times, this album has been praised. Again, it's very polarizing amongst Kiss fans. They either love it or hate it. But there is a lot of love out there for this album. And in hindsight, it really is a good album. Now, whether or not it really fits into what Kiss normally does, yeah, it probably doesn't. But as far as the quality of the music on the album, if you're listening with your ears instead of your eyes, it is a really good album. And now this kind of comes back to why I have 2 copies of this album. Like, why would I need the reissue and the original issue? Because I've said on a previous show that I really don't think remastering comes through on the vinyl as much as it does in CD and digital formats, and I still maintain that. I don't necessarily think this one here sounds better than this one. However, with The Elder, when it was originally released in 1981, I guess the record label was a little worried about what to do with it when they heard it. So they changed the track order to fit, maybe potential singles or something like that. So the original has a different track order, which starts off with a song called The Oath, whereas on the normal, on the 2014 issue, The Oath is one of the last songs on the album. And there's a reason for that. So like I said, I think the record label was trying to move songs around to make it more sellable, maybe to highlight singles, or maybe to come right out of the box with a rock song instead of what it was supposed to be. So like I said, The Elder is a concept album based on a story, short story that Gene Simmons had written. So I remember, with the first time I heard the record, the way the track listing was, and I didn't know any better at the time, I was like, this doesn't really make any sense. Like, is The Oath supposed to be the opening track? And, then, like if it was a movie, would that be the opening track? And then there's the rest of this? I'm like, but the story just didn't really make any sense. Well, in 1996, when Kiss put out their original group of remasters, and this was just strictly CD and, CD at the time, they went through and put The Elder back into the track listing that it was supposed to be. With the track listing on the 1996 remaster, when you heard it in the order it was supposed to be, all of a sudden the story made a lot more sense. It starts with him being a boy and coming of age and coming into a man and coming into the hero that the elders and all that want him to be to fight evil and stuff. Again, that's a very paraphrased version of the story. You can look that up if you want. But like I said, the storyline just makes a lot more sense with it in the order that it's supposed to be in. So that's why, while I love having the original because these are collectible and valuable, I don't like listening to it because the order is not in the correct order. So I have this reissue here so I can listen to the album in its correct order. And that's very important to me. So that's why I have two of these. So I don't listen to this one very much. I listen to this one a lot. But again, I don't think sound quality is really a thing. I really just don't, personally for me, and everybody's different, I don't hear a big difference in sound quality when they remaster and put a remastered version of an album on vinyl. I just think vinyl, the richness and everything that vinyl has, I just really just don't think, especially considering all of this stuff was recorded on analog equipment to begin with, I really don't think the digitally remastering comes through on the vinyl. That's just me. Okay, so enough about that. So, we've talked about why I have two versions of the album and sequencing and all that. So let's talk about some of the songs. So a world without heroes was the single from the album. There is a video, you can check it out on YouTube. It was everybody's first glimpse at Kiss in 1981. They had trimmed their hair. Gene Simmons no longer had the man bun on top, and he just had a slick back hairdo when it wasn't long. Paul Stanley cut his hair down, and they had different outfits, different hair, and I just think they had already changed drummers the year before, and I think changing their look and completely changing their sound for like a third album in a row was just too much for fans to deal with. So World Without Heroes did not do much, chart-wise, MTV-wise, or anything else. But there are some great songs on this record. Like I said, I mentioned the song The Oath earlier. That, again, is the first song that plays on the original version, original release, but is much, much later in the story on the correctly sequenced reissue. That's a great song, or a good hard rocker. Like I said, I think two of the best songs on this record are the two songs that Ace played on. So the first would be Dark Light, which was him, his track, him singing, has a smoking guitar solo in the middle. The riff on it's really cool. Definitely, in my opinion, the highlight, my favorite song on the record. And then there's another song that you might be able to hear playing in the background right now. It's an instrumental tune called Escape from the Island. And again, it's a little bit later in the story. And this actually, if I'm not mistaken, is Ace Frehley on guitar, Bob Ezrin on bass, and Eric Carr on drums. So it was really just a three-piece, and only two of the four members of Kiss played on it. But again, in my opinion, just one of the best songs, one of the highlights of the album, one of the highlights of any Kiss album, in my opinion, that it's included on, which is only like a couple. And then the last song on the album is a song called I love this song. It's a little cheesy, but lyrically, it's one of those songs, for me, it fits right in there with like Eye of the Tiger or something like that. A song that just really, really gets me pumped up. If I'm feeling down and I need a song to kind of get me more, back into like a positive realm, I listen to because it really is just like the end of the story, this hero that's come of age, and is finally brave and is finally able to face fears and all that kind of stuff. And, I need that a lot in my life, so that's a go-to song for me when I need some motivation when I'm feeling down. So, is a great tune, and it's a great song to end the album with. And there's actually performances of that and a couple other Elder tunes available on iTunes from some of the limited performing they did from the album. So they didn't tour at all for the album because, again, it didn't perform well on the charts. They just did some TV appearances. So again, you can check those out on YouTube. Let's see, we already talked about they cut the hair, the different outfits, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, there have been other reissues. Now, this is the 2014 vinyl reissue that they, did with all their albums in 2014. Like I said, in 1996, they did remaster all their albums and re-release them on CD. So you can find those. You can also find this on iTunes and Spotify and anywhere else that you listen to music. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube as well. So check it out. It's a very unconventional Kiss album. It's very different than anything else they released, and it was the third album in a string of 4 albums where they really just alienated their fans. They had 79's Dynasty, which is, has some like disco tunes on it. Then they went into like straight roller boogie mode in 1980 with Unmasked. Then they go all weird and conceptual with The Elder, and then they came back in 1982 with the hardest rocking album of their career, Creatures of the Night. I have another video on that too if you want to check that out. So, but again, weird time for Kiss, probably a weird time to release this album, and because of that, it did not do well at the time, but over the years, it has become more and more respected and more loved amongst Kiss fans and amongst rock fans. So, that's all I've got for you today. Like I said, if you would, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below. I've got some other stuff out there. I've got the rest of my Inside the Vinyl series. That includes my Lost Classics, as well as my series on live albums. I also have my Unboxing the Vinyl series, where we open up reissues new vinyls, new box sets, sometimes CD, not vinyl. And I've got, with it being fall now, there's going to be a lot of new releases coming. So I know between now and the end of October, there's several things that I've got coming for my unboxing series. I've also got some live footage from festivals and concerts, Exit 111, Welcome to Rockville, Kiss from 2019. Check those out. And if you're into disc golf, I've got some very mediocre disc golf videos starting to very mediocre disc golfers, myself included. So again, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Peace out.